Um, it's Lorenzo here. Man, I here to talk about what's on my mind right now. Let's say this: if you stay away from toxic friends that you do not need to know about. It says live video how to distance yourself from toxic friends. All right, let's read this. Distancing yourself from toxic friends in public settings require prioritizing emotional safety, composure, and clear boundaries while avoiding unnecessary drama or scenes. The goal is to minimize friction in the moment and create physical and emotional separation. Make your responses polite, neutral, and uninteresting. Uninteresting. When toxic dynamic patterns emerge, like gossip, passive aggressive remarks, or attempts to provoke a reaction, give brief, non committal answers. That's interesting. I see that. Hope that works out. And you plan on not to be disrespectful to somebody that you do not trust. So you don't put your hands on somebody at all. Avoid getting isolated and without addressing personal details or emotional energy. Avoid getting isolated in one-on-one. Avoid getting isolated in one-on-one acquaintances. Participate in broader group conversations or position yourself across the room. If they try to corner you, pivot to interact with someone nearby or excuse yourself to grab a drink, check on your friend, or step outside. Having an exit line prepared gives you total control over how long you stay in uncomfortable situations. Keeping it simple and direct, such as I need to get going for early morning, or I'm going to mingle over here for a bit, allows you to step away without opening the floor for debate or confrontation. Those public venues are rarely the right place to hash out the friendship conflicts, as high emotions can escalate quickly. When you're in public, focus entirely on emotional detachment and boundary enforcement. If a larger conversation needs to happen, address it in a controlled environment or over attacks. If that toxic friend tries to cause a scene or press your boundaries, no. If that toxic friend tries to cause a scene or press your boundaries, public, public, publicly. If that toxic friend tries to cause a scene or press your boundaries publicly, resist to resist the urge to get defensive or match their volume. A quiet, steady response like, I'm not going to discuss this right now, or let me know if you're ready to talk calmly, strips away the attention they seek and protects your personal peace. Like this. So, you know that a toxic friend like you, especially try to start by mumbling all the time, including like he like someone who loves to talk when you're at a workplace, and some people wanted to talk. Like people want to meddle in your business and something like that. And like people try to interrupt you when you want to talk to a friend, anything like that. So you know what? Some people would not have the ability to um, have a conversation with your companions and stuff. Mhm. So you know what happened. No one should start a war, so nobody else is going to start that war. So everybody, um, toxic friends. You know what? People wouldn't want to become your man. Some people won't become your friend. No. How about toxic people when you go to the restaurant? Uh, if you dislike toxic friends bothering you and all that, you could distance yourself from them when you want to get ready to eat at public restaurants and stuff. You could cut off negative people. You could cut off some negative things. You could cut off somebody if they bring up negativity in the past. Um, they say that some people have their own personal problems, right? Continue to have their own personal problems, right? And some people would not discuss this. So you'll not discuss that topic with somebody who is not your friend, right? And some of your friends will become ignorant, and some people will spread the gossip about you, and some people might have a hard time listening, and some people may never, or some people might take advantage of your personality and stuff. And I would think that you are a nice and polite person. So you do not get toxic. Even when some people were to be toxic, some people may overthink it when they bring up any conversation like they did recently. Not like they did in the present moment. It's best to stay away from others who wants to repeatedly discussing things that they create a narrative about everything everyone else in the family. You know what's best for you. You just avoid toxic people that was continually making such a fuss about their about family problems. Mm. And sometimes you can also think that the narrative is coming from somebody, that some people will talk. They say that they love to talk. That's why. So this situation is when some individuals who are meddling in other people's business, that make them feel like they might become a burden on you. As long as you don't provoke them or meddle in someone's business, you are good. And so you're going to step away from that person that was bothering you. Stay away from. You gotta let that situation uh, ex, exclude yourself when you get into a situation when toxic friends were try to hurt themselves as usual. You know, try to push you. They try to push you away, even when you try to talk with them. So when you go to a restaurant and enjoy with your relatives, some people will grow toxic. Your toxic friends are talking behind your back when you go to a restaurant. Some people may know that they don't seem to be polite to you. They don't seem to be nice to you. And some of your friends were toxic. You don't ever want to meet that person. You don't ever want to be with those people who are toxic right now. Yeah, some people would be negative, right? Right there. Some people will be negative. They hold their own grudges. They have their own opinions. They view you as a loud and annoying person. That's correct. So they will quickly worry about your interactions with your friends, just like your family members or who your mother, your friend, or I mean your mom or your parents. Um, some people were to get on your fucking nerves and all that, like your grandmother, who you live with, your family, your cousin, whoever you live with. So your grandmother's meddling and controlling is very exhausting and very suffocating. And that was the first thing you do is excuse yourself for a moment and step in your room. Besides having a conversation with your grandmother and all that. A new characterized person who is never a, a bad character. They were since being angered since today. You're gonna get better, right? Since today, you are not responsible. You for their own behavior. They are responsible for their own behavior. When you go shopping, some people won't grow toxic. So your other friends you work at the work day program become very toxic. You don't know someone else who is toxic, right? Know some of your friends who are toxic, and you know that, right? Some friends will be toxic. Some of your family members will be toxic. On your mom's side, your friends will be toxic, right? On your mother's side of the family, some of your family members will grow toxic, right? Just like your mom. Mine was overbearing and controlling grandma. And you know that how people would be bad, right? And sometimes that you cannot let anything frustrate you. At the last moment, your friends would decide to go to a park, go to roller coaster rides, and there are no people who become toxic, and some people will grow toxic. They say that a friend who some of your friends will become toxic, and they get upset over small things for a reason. You know that other individuals would be toxic, so you don't want to talk to them if they cannot be friends with you. Some of your friends will grow toxic. So today, this is how you avoid toxic friends and try to distance yourself from them. And some people create a false narrative about you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. They put you in danger. They don't put you in danger much. They give into hatred. So while they're young, everybody else has to go through it. Or while they're old, some people won't do anything, and then you'll grow weak. And so when you grow old, your voice will change, and then your looks will fade, and you can't tell how old you're growing right about now. I made a mistake to say that some people wouldn't grow toxic, and so let me say something. And if she has a boyfriend and she began a relationship with that person, and she did not want to talk with me, let's say how to distance yourself from a toxic friend who wants to get like that, or you get upset over small things like her boyfriend didn't want to buy her gifts or anything. And it's sometimes that you can't let any female friends who are toxic, they get upset more often if they say, I can't hang out with a man anymore. Some people create same negative things like it happens at Macomb Academy. Like girls have boyfriends, and I stood away from toxic people who are holding a potential grudge against me when people, some of your friends or you go to school with, are being very toxic, like very aggressive. When someone has a boyfriend, someone has a crush, when some of the guy is being manipulative and very controlling at times. Like when mom's overbearing and controlling behavior, and grandma's overbearing and controlling behavior. So you know what? I don't think that some people in your family may not trust that issue. So if they have family issues, you may not know if any family members would have some issues. I don't know. So your mom or your family member will grow toxic. Your dad won't grow toxic either. But your dad is not toxic. You know that. So I got discussed with that topic tomorrow or two. Staying away from toxic friends. How to avoid toxic friends. And you're discussing how to identify and distance yourself from toxic friends. Instead of looking for a girlfriend, you must know how to continue to distance yourself from toxic friends. And you don't know what happens, right? So you will know if toxic friends would have messed with your mind, like in the industry, like in the music industry. Some toxic friends would bother you or fuss at you over smallest things. So you can't let that get to you. I heard that your sister become an R&B singer. When your sister became an R&B singer, she began to write songs. When your cousin became an R&B singer on your dad's side of the family, she writes songs. So you could ask your sister to give you singing lessons when toxic friends would bother you. So you could ask your cousin, who's a legendary R&B singer, to give you singing lessons and stuff. I don't think you can miss this one. You got a friend to protect you, right? So you don't need to be overreacting like that. So you know that, right? All right. And some people would get jealous, and that's I can tell you that. But back in high school, I distanced myself from toxic friends. Just as I thought, I back in high school, I let toxic friends bother me. So I did let toxic friends bother me every motherfucking time. So I let every bullcrap bother me. And when I was a teenager, I let bullcrap bother me. So in the meantime, I know toxic friends would be stubborn every time. So toxic friends would become stupid, weak, and pathetic who don't have a family. So you do not have to experience the same trauma in the past like this. So you cannot need to deal with negative friends or on social media. So you do not have to deal with these kind of negative people or like this in the community. So they have sisters. They got family members out there in public, right? They got family members. I guess so. Toxic friends do not ever want to trust you. Okay? If somebody is obsessed about your past, right? They become. I don't wish to. Oh, Roy is not your friend. If my friend was like this, I don't know who it is. Oh. Hmm. Oh yeah. So no dad jokes. I have some experience that I have to go out there and take that one. Yes. I love this story about how to that I discussed it about toxic friends or how to avoid toxic friends and stuff like that. Yes, I do like this story that I come up with. How to avoid toxic friends. How to distance. This is how you can do it when you got to distance yourself from toxic friends in life. All right. This is what happens if you wanted to start by distancing yourself from toxic friends, then you could also be a part of yourself. If you want to distance yourself from toxic friends, then you can also stay away from them. You also reveal that not you gotta learn how to stop talking with your friends who are toxic, and that's the main reason that you want to avoid toxic friends. And if they wanted to start an argument and make a scene and stuff like that, so you know why you have to avoid letting something get to you like that. Just when you're especially want to go out in public, so some people create a narrative about every single thing. But like they continue worrying about what you're doing. They continue to worry about what they were. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, they will always worry. Oh man, yeah. They get jealous a lot. They always want to be jealous a lot because they are envious. I guess some people would have become envious, and that's true. Just like people were toxic, and just like one of these people in Fire Emblem Three Houses and all that. So they're gonna stop you from being toxic, right? They say if they are toxic during a political war, I guess they aren't supposed to be doing it now. And then if some people were to grow toxic in Three Houses, then they get fed up in the political war. So we'll not bring up negative issues like people were to grow toxic behaviors. Had a ongoing outbursts like toxic situations like this. So if you get upset, then let your mom know and if something's bothering you, and you gotta avoid toxic friends, something like that. So you bring up toxic people, right? Toxic people were not your friends. Toxic people are just going to cause trouble. You know why? Some people would go cause trouble, start a feud, or anything like that. So you don't need to worry about some people are talking to you like that, or raise your voice, or you don't have to raise your voice. And some people would grow toxic like that. It's just part of life when people want to grow toxic. That's not for you to worry about. So your mom was toxic, and when she loses things, then she's not happy, right? So no worries, right? If you work at a job with your mom, then she never grow toxic towards you. And if they continue to bring up something about Lorenzo and his past, chasing girls with our boyfriends, like brothers fight one another. I don't need that toxic older narratives that past mistakes. So I don't need a narrative to post stories about other people or about same narratives that were coming around, like celebrities, friends who grow toxic, they become celebrities. I don't want to care for celebrities much. But I love their music. Never want to become a celebrity anyway. I don't want to cause a scene. I don't ever want to get involved into their own personal business like that. I need to just focus on me, do me, everything. Everything that I can't worry about celebrities all the time. There's no point of worrying about them. Not any of them would have become celebrities or be famous or anything like that. So I may know that if some people were to grow toxic, that's on them. Some if they have relationship issues, they can't even realize what they're talking about. So if they get upset too easily, then you could distance yourself from a toxic friend. Sometimes toxic friends won't be friends, right? So you get to get upset that they have toxic friends in public. Say these women won't remember these women are watch. Oh yeah, that's disappointing. Hmm. 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 No, the story's over. Hello.
Hello.
So what would your what are your goals? Get out of here. I don't want- You're disgusting.